Mental health continue to be one of the deepening crises in Uganda, especially among the youth and and it might turn it around that we are going to vividly found that it's going far out from us. If you had to go to UK and maybe all those developed countries, suicide caused by those mental crises continue to soar the heights, and we are following or maybe taking the path. If you can't just maybe invite some ways to really stop it, but you could talk about what could be the key, what could be like what could be the cause of mental health crisis among us, especially the children. We are mostly talking about boys here. Mostly we're going to focus. We are focusing on boys. But probably we are talking about. Let's talk about maybe the past in African traditional society. Boys were raised to be men, but nowadays you are raising boys to be ladies. That's one of the best things that's one of the worst things that we're doing as parents and maybe other things. The truth is, an idle mind is always the devil's workshop of this one. An idle mind can think other negative things and find it is encouraging anything that doesn't really matter in life. But sometimes parents run out of options on how to do something and maybe to how to handle or create certain hobbies. Maybe due to limited commercial activities and maybe other infrastructure that might facilitate them. But maybe that couldn't be the problem. The parent must devise other ways to keep your child busy all the time. If not busy, maybe he's doing something that really through constructive. Because the more someone indulges in something that is constructive and maybe important, then the more it keeps his mind active and consequently not thinking active. But it seems like we are not doing enough. One, it ranges from the ashes, the environment around us, or maybe the ashes among the boys that maybe that we are raising. One, we are raising kids not to be kids. We're just raising kids to be like toddlers. Because there's no way people nowadays you kids start using smartphones, from smartphone to TVs almost at the age of 1 year. So from age of 1 year up to the age of 20, someone is conditioned to be on social media and find consequences at it. That's why find that someone is 25, 30 years, but he find it too hard to break it free from maybe being on movies, watching movies. He prefers doing those casual things instead of doing some things constructive or productive. So he always choose that priority. Not that maybe he or she wants it, but because he was conditioned or raised in that manner. And maybe which brings that sense of that senselessness. But the truth is, conversation seems to be just something that seems to be very, 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 very low. In those days in the past, parents, relatives, and friends did one of the important things in raising children to become more potential. But due to modernity, you find if the parents or maybe the relatives visit the places or maybe the homes, find that kids tend to shy away because they are more inclined in watching TVs and all sorts of which those TVs sounds not be anyhow productive. But it seems like that inevitable stage. It seems an inevitable stage, and maybe we might not be able to control it. But the truth now is, if someone who does maybe watches something, how is she going to translate it to be important or maybe his passion? Because maybe we should start conditioning children to watch things that they might develop careers in them. If they are movies, maybe we try to condition them to be actors, maybe just like what they watch. So maybe if they are music, we condition them to start singing and maybe dancing just like the world. And maybe that's how we can develop talent. Of recent, Uganda ranked third in Africa for talent development. And I think we have very many talent that we need to tap on. But maybe due to limited infrastructure, maybe sponsors and all sorts of maybe rigidity for parents and maybe courage or what cultural factors and all sorts of continue to hinder all sorts of things. Because we need to break free from the colonial mindset where the people could go to school from primary, secondary, college, university, and after they get a job. The world have moved away from that. But that same thing was implemented in Germany and Europe in 1950 after the World War. Where they started in prioritizing parents before all that. And that's why we see Europe as one of the most developed countries and more greatly in talent development. Because that thing was taken, they took it they took it as a priority and they saw the generation in different tendencies and angles. And it is generating a lot of income for them and making them spread. And maybe we can bring it closer to yes in Africa or maybe in Uganda. Maybe we can try to deepen that mental health crisis. And that was response to First World War because there was a lot of post trauma and all those things. And for people to cope up, they had to introduce sports and all sorts of so as people could be cheering, they bring all sorts of as people can create memories and they forget about that trauma of Second World War and maybe what they were subjected in. And that's how they solve some mental health accuracy. So the key takes from this video, when we talk about mental health, especially about the boys, we talk about it in a different way. But the key takes, we say we should try to adapt somehow the traditional parenting style where the relatives and the people associates around us are going to play a key role in raising the children. That means morals, ethics, and all sorts of cultural norms and development. Second, we are trying to conditioning children to watch, to implement and develop talents in what they are watching. Third, conditioning children to be more of readers than video watchers. And maybe that can be the best thing maybe we can do. And talent development being a priority for us. So the government developing the necessary infrastructures, maybe improvements, bringing psychologists in schools, and all sorts of so as we can solve the deepening mental health crisis. Quick reminder that every boy will lose in sport or along the way in alcohol, smoking, what kind of this will lose another generation. And every negative factor, every person, every young boy we neglect a generation. And once we neglect all of them, then we are killing a generation and there will be no future for them. So let us raise upright and great people for a great nation and great world. Thank you so much.